Hello, welcome everyone. Thanks for liking my videos and subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate it. My name is Tim. I bring you villages related content. Thanks for liking and thanks for subscribing. Today's video, I will bring you the 10 most misconceptions about the villages. I will turn the camera around, we will take a walk, and I will explain to you the 10 items that most people don't understand about the villages. For those new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tim. I bring you villages related content. The Villages is a 55-plus community located in Central Florida. It is the fastest growing community in the nation according to the 2022-23 Metropolitan Statistical Analysis reports. It's also the safest community in Florida with a very low crime rate of 1,044 crimes for every 100,000 people, and there are about 170,000 people that live in the Villages, Florida. So you can do the math and figure out how many crimes on average per year occur in the Villages. And today's video, I want to describe to you what the misconceptions about the Villages are. I have lived in the Villages for 3 years, a little more than 3 years, and I keep getting asked the same questions by certain people. I also have noticed when I speak to people in the Villages some of the things that they're surprised about, and I wanted to describe 10 items that most people don't quite understand about the Villages, Florida. And the first item on the list is the Villages is not a gated community. A lot of people feel that the Villages is a gated community because the Villages does have gates, entry gates. Those gates can be accessed by anybody in the public by pushing a red button. The Villages is not a gated community. You do not need an access card to get into the community. All the roads in the Villages are public roads, and the Villages, by law, cannot prevent anyone from driving or using the roads because they are public property. So that is the first misconception I wanted to discuss, is the Villages is not a gated community. It is a community that has gates. Those gates do provide some individuals with the thought that they cannot enter the community, but that's just not true. And as I mentioned earlier in the intro, the Villages is a very safe community, and the gates have very little to do with the safety in that community. The second misconception about the Villages I want to discuss is it's expensive to live in the Villages. And this is kind of a double-edged sword. I'm going to talk about the monthly fees that the residents must pay to live in the Villages. And those monthly fees are not expensive, in my opinion, compared to some of the other retirement communities in Florida. For instance, the monthly amenity fee is $199 per month. That is the fee you pay to access your recreation amenities, including, for example, the swimming pools, the tennis courts, the pickleball courts, the executive golf courses, etc. There's also a maintenance fee that you pay annually that shows up on your property tax bill. And on average, those maintenance fees cost about $50 per month, and that is to maintain the common areas of the villages, to plant the flowers, to mow the lawns in the common areas. There's also a fire assessment fee that pays for your fire and emergency services. That's a once-a-year fee that averages about $25 per month. You also have irrigation water. That is the fee you pay to have your lawns watered, and that averages somewhere in that $25 to $50 a month as well. So in general, compared to some of the other 55 plus communities in Florida, the average monthly fees are not that expensive. You can argue that the price of the homes initially are higher when you purchase a home, because I know there are other 55 plus communities in Florida that you can purchase a home for less amount of money. But I'm discussing the monthly fees that you need to pay to access your amenities and to keep the community clean. And I feel those fees are actually fairly low compared to other communities in Florida. The other misconception about the villages is the alternative lifestyle. Some people refer to it as the STD rates and the alternative lifestyles in the villages. I just want to let everybody know that I have not seen any of that lifestyle in the villages. I know there are a lot of rumors, there have been videos, there are movies made about it. But I personally, in the 3 years I've been there, have not seen any strange alternative behavior. Keep in mind, the villages is a city of 170,000 people. And in a population of that size, you are going to find a lot of people, and there will always be a small percentage of people that will have different and unique lifestyles. Keep in mind, there are a lot of single people that live in the villages. A lot of those people are single because their partner, their husband, their wives passed away. So there is that activity, but I do not see it as being something that is going to dramatically affect your lifestyle. Another misconception is the friendliest hometown. Is the Villages the friendliest hometown? I would say that the Villages is no more friendly than any other city or hometown in America. That's just my opinion. Like any other city, there are good people, friendly people, and there are some not so friendly people. And overall, I would rank the Villages as being just average in friendliness, no better, no worse than any other city in America. Another misconception is you can golf for free in the Villages, and I know they advertise free golf in the Villages, and technically that's true. But if you want to golf on an executive golf course using your golf cart, you need to pay an annual trail pass to take your golf cart on an executive golf course. And that trail pass averages out to about $11.66 a month. So if you want to golf using a golf cart, golfing technically is not free. And I think that's one of the largest misconceptions in the Villages. Another misconception is around the bonds. bonds are issued for every homeowner, and I discussed this in many other videos. The bonds are the infrastructure costs that the developer passes on to the homeowners. A lot of times in a lot of other communities, that developer passes those infrastructure costs onto the homeowner by increasing the price of the land they build a home on. This developer parses that bond out, those infrastructure costs out, and allows you to pay that off over 30 years' time, or pay it all off at once. And a lot of people don't understand what the bonds are, why they're there. They also confuse the bonds with maintenance fees. The bonds are different and unique to a maintenance fee. A maintenance fee is an annual charge you pay for the general upkeep of your community. The bond is to pay for the infrastructure, to develop that community, to excavate the land, to put the streets and the sewers in. Another misconception is the Villages is not an HOA. It is not a homeowners association. It is a community development district formed under Statute 190 of the Florida State Statutes. It is a unique form of government. It allows the developer to develop an area known as a district and then sell that district off to the community development district, who then is in charge of maintaining that district. And the community development district purchases the infrastructure essentially from the developer by issuing bonds, and that's where the bond comes in. So the Villages is not an HOA. The infrastructure is not owned by the residents like an HOA. It is owned by the Community Development District that was formed under State Statute 190. And it was formed that way to help the developer recover its development costs quicker so they can expand and develop more communities. Another misconception about the Villages is the land that your house is on is leased. That is not true. If you purchase a home, you are also purchasing the land the home is on. That land is titled to you. It is not leased. I know there are other 55 plus communities in Florida where the land is leased to the homeowner. You only own the home and not the land. But in the Villages, you own the home and the land. It is not leased land. Another misconception is everything is accessible via golf car in the Villages, and that is not true. Most of what you need to access is accessible by golf cars, and that is not true. You can access most items via golf car, but there are a few retail stores outside the Villages that are not accessible by golf car, and there are some retail establishments located along County Road 466A, for instance, that you cannot access via golf car. Most, if not all, of the amenities in the Villages are accessible by golf car. It's just that some of the third-party retailers and stores that surround the Villages, some of those are not accessible via golf car. And the last item on the list of misconceptions of the Villages is there are no alligators in the Villages. That is simply not true. There are alligators in the Villages. I know I speak to some people who are surprised to hear there are alligators in the Villages. And I recently saw a YouTube video of a couple that are thinking about moving from the villages because of the alligators they encounter. And I want to let everybody know that if you move to Florida, Florida has a lot of alligators in it, including Central Florida, where the Villages is. And part of the reason I created my YouTube channel was to inform people around the country and around the world about the Villages. And I know I had a subscriber a few months back make a comment, why are you letting people know there are alligators in the Villages? And that is because I think everybody needs to know their surroundings and need to be aware of where they are relocating to. In general, the alligators do not bother anyone. They are not aggressive. And I keep telling my subscribers, the alligators are only really interested in small animals. They are interested in your pets. Do not walk your dog near a retention pond. Alligators will tend to be aggressive around pets and dogs. If you go fishing in a retention pond, if you catch a fish, I heard stories that the alligator will go after the fish that you caught on your line. So just be aware, there are alligators. They typically reside in and around retention ponds and water. So exercise more caution if you find yourself near water or near retention ponds in the Villages. So there you have it, friends. Those are my top 10 misconceptions about the Villages, Florida. Feel free to share the video with those you feel are interested in this type of content. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Take care.